Hello everybody, welcome to the Comic Gamer Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I am here to review A Haunting in Venice. Now, A Haunting in Venice is a very interesting ghost story because it's a detective story. This is the third movie in the, I don't even know what to call it, the Agatha Christie slash Kenneth Branagh's French detective story. Now, if you wonder which, this is the follow-up to Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile, with the legendary, which follows this world-renowned French detective. I cannot say his name. It's like Hercule Poirot. I can't say it. It's very French. I don't want to fuck it up, but it's like Hercule. I can't pronounce it at all, right? So I'm not even gonna bother. But this is a Kenneth Branagh directed trilogy, and he stars in it, and it's based off of murder novels by the legendary murder mystery writer Agatha Christie. She is like I said, she's a legend in that field. She's written a bunch of murder mystery novels, and these movies, Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile, and this one are based off of some of her books. And we follow the detective. Now, this has kind of been a rise. Murder mystery has kind of been on the uptick, and not just in audio form, which we all know that murder mystery in audio form, but like murder mystery, we got like things, obviously the Knives Out or Glass Onion. We got Only Murders in the Building. There's a lot, like murder mystery is like being done at a very good level. And I liked Murder on the Orient Express, and I thought Death of the Nile was pretty good too. Death of the Nile, I didn't have as much fun with because I figured out what the murder was. I didn't just figure out who was gonna die. I figured out how they were gonna die. It's funny because Glass Onion got me with that shit. Because often with these big murder mysteries, they usually have an actor, a big time actor in it, and they're the one who dies because they promote it with that big time actor, like bam, 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 and they're like, oh, they're dead. Kind of like Scream did with Drew Barrymore, or like in Death of the Nile, what they did with goddamn. Why am I forgetting a Wonder Woman? Gal Gadot, where they promoted the shit out of that movie with Gal Gadot, and spoiler alert, she was the one who died. She was the one who died, and she was the one who the entire death, the murder, everything was, her death was around all that, and it was pretty clear to me up top at the beginning who murdered her, or in that movie's case, who's as in two. It was pretty clear to me what had went down, why it had went down, and everything. Really, pretty much. It kind of like ended up coming to fruition for me, personally, watching the movie. I figured it out pretty early on, and then I just spent the rest of the movie just trying to, I don't know, talk myself out of what I already know. So that was Death on the Nile. This movie is a bit different, right? Because what do you get when you take the world's greatest detective and you put him in a scenario in a haunted house situation? You put someone who is a being of pure logic, a skeptic at heart, in a situation where he has to fucking figure out what's real and what's not. And you get this interesting situation that's very much like, there's a Sherlock Holmes book called one of them is The Hound of Baskerville. And in that book, Sherlock Holmes has to investigate like this demon dog. There's this demon dog going around killing people. And of course, in the book, Sherlock's like, okay, there's not a demon dog going around killing people. I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm a being of pure logic. I know what the fuck's going on. There ain't no actual demon dog. Now, as it turns out, there isn't an actual demon dog, but there was a dog, and there was shit going on with that dog, and there was something unusual that was unique, that was still slightly unexplainable, but it wasn't like a whole over-the-top thing, and he was right. But throughout the course of that book, at least the majority of it, until near the end, things happen with the dog that Sherlock can't explain that makes him start to at least entertain seriously the idea that this is really a fucking demon dog. And just like in that book, this movie is just like that for our main detective, where he is put in a situation where he may or may not be in a haunted house like, people are dying, and they're dying in weird ways. He can't explain why he's hearing these noises. He can't explain why he's seeing a dead girl who died years ago. He can't explain all of these things. This man of pure logic who's come here, which I actually like the angle they did with him, because if you've been watching these movies, you watch the trilogy, you find out that the main detective, Hercule, he fought in the war. He fought in World War II, and he has PTSD from it. He has really bad PTSD from it. Not only does he have PTSD from the war, but as the world's greatest detective, he has traveled the world to solve murders, and he's seen so much death, and he's seen the worst in humanity, that it's kind of made him not lose his religion, which honestly makes perfect sense, honestly. If you're the world's greatest detective, and you've seen the amount of death and the reasoning behind people's deaths that he's seen, and the extinct people they're willing to go to get justice, like, it will fuck you up too, which it did to him. It really bothered him. It fucked him up. And it made him lose faith. It made him lose faith in humanity. It made him lose faith in God and in anything supernatural. So his whole thing is like, I can't believe in this ghost shit, because if ghosts exist, and that means God, that means the soul exists, and if the soul exists, that means God exists, and would God let all these terrible things happen? That's kind of the angle he's coming at it from, and why he's like, I can't believe religion or any of this God bullshit, because if God was real, would all this shit happen? And you trust all the shit I've seen? Would God allow all this shit to happen? Would God allow all these murders, these gruesome murders I've seen and solved, and the people and why they did it to happen? Understandable. But through the course of the movie, he questions himself. He questions himself. He questions himself. There are red herrings. There are red herrings. I will tell you this. Who ended up being the murderer is sort of one of those things where it's like, okay, I should have saw that. Yeah, okay. That was, yeah, okay. And they set the series very nicely. They really do. Like, it's, like I said, it's a great, like, this is a fun time, especially, like, because with the ghost angle, it really does, like, the haunted house angle on this, because you know this is a serious detective story. You know, like, at the end of the day, minor spoilers, you know there ain't gonna be but so much actual ghost shit. You know there's a logical explanation for everything that's happening. So there's a fun in trying to figure out, okay, why is he seeing this shit? Why is he hearing this shit? Like, what's going on with him right now? There's an interesting, why is this person acting like this? It's a very interesting thing, especially because you know it can't be actual ghosts. So in your brain, you're like, how the fuck did that happen? And near the end, you're like, okay. Especially one little tidbit ends up making it very clear and obvious how that ended up happening. How everyone here, including the main protagonist, started to believe that, yo, this place might be actually fucking haunted. Especially since a lot of the shit turned out to be real. I love that a lot of, because the whole entire movie takes place in this like building in Venice. That's why it's A Haunting in Venice. This building in Venice, and like, it's like in the middle, it's like kind of like, Venice is weird, dude. I've never been to Venice, but sometimes I forget that a lot of that shit, like, you gotta travel by boat out there. And sometimes I forget about that shit. But you know, you gotta travel by boat, and it's in the middle of a storm, and they're all stuck in this fucking building that apparently, a long time ago, like, there's this it has a haunted house story behind it that turns out to be an actual true story. That's how they get you in this movie too, is that some of the shit that they set up actually is legit. Like certain ways people died, certain stories about the building are legit, which makes you go, whoa, that's legit, that really happened. So there's a lot of things there's a lot of things in this movie that are just fun. Honestly, I think it's better than the other two movies. This is my favorite of the three movies, honestly. Out of Death on the Nile and Murder on the Orient Express, this is my favorite one, because the ghost angle gave this movie a unique, like, take to it, where, like I said, you spend so much of the movie trying to figure out, no, because often in murder mysteries, you're just trying to figure out who did it, right? That's it. But here you're trying to, like, how is he how are they fucking with him to this extent that he's seeing what he's seeing, that he's feeling what he's feeling, that he's hearing what he's hearing, and, like, who did it, and how are they doing this to him? So there's like two different angles there that you spend the entire movie trying to figure out, and that was a fun experience. It was a fun experience, great ending, fun, like, great reveal, and they did the thing that I knew they were gonna fucking do. I'm not gonna spoil it if you ever go see the movie, which it may not, and it feels like it's about to be out of the theaters, but if you see the movie, they do a thing at the end of the movie that I knew they were gonna fucking do. They did it in, they did it in the Scooby-Doo movie once. They did it in one of the Scooby-Doo movies, where they did the whole, was that? No, that couldn't have been. I mean, it could have been, but no. But it could have been. Alright, when you see it, you'll know. They did the thing, where it's like, I mean, I'm not saying that was a ghost, but it could have been. No. But anyways, I would give this movie, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. It was a really good time. It was a good murder mystery, a good little twist on a murder mystery when you put it in the context of a ghost story as well. It's like, so you're trying to figure out what the fuck, not only who is responsible for this death or deaths, you're trying to figure out how are they making everyone, including the main protagonist, who we have seen in multiple movies, be a genius wizard at being a detective. It is even fucking with him. Anyways, thank you guys for joining the Countdown Movie Show again. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.